Welcome back to Meet the Team, presented by USA Slalom Skateboarding. I'm Joe McLaren, joined, of course, with my co-host, Josh Bird. Josh, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Looking forward to interviewing our next Team USA racer, which is Lynn Kramer, 17-time world champion of slalom skateboarding. How are you, Lynn?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing good. We're stoked to have you here. Congratulations on making the 2024 team, and looking forward to catching up with you a little bit today.
Thanks. You guys too.
Yeah. So this is actually your second year being on Team USA. You made the team in 2022 at the first World Skate Games in Argentina. What was that experience like, going to the first World Skate Games last year?
It was amazing. It was a really great trip. We had a house with most of Team USA in it, and the team camaraderie was just amazing, on and off the hill. And the venue was great. We got to race at a Formula One track, which, is kind of the first time we've ever done that in my lifetime. So
Right.
it was really great. It was a bucket list trip.
Yeah, for sure. No, it definitely looked like it, and yeah, that racetrack and everything was so cool with like the stadium and all of that. It was, yeah, looked like it was a really great experience.
Mm-hmm. And thinking back to that championship in World Skate Games in Argentina, does that title mean more to you than the other championship titles? You have so many now.
Well, the contest itself was really far away, and so I think there might have been some of the top women that could have gone that didn't get to go. So I think the field was smaller. But as far as the visibility of slalom and the legitimacy, it was a good step forward, and the production of the race was the best, one of the best I've seen.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it was kind of unfortunate with, kind of it being in Argentina and stuff. I know that it was a little bit harder for the more of the women and to make it there, and but it seems like the level of racing was still really good, even though it was maybe a little bit of a smaller field. But yeah, so this year for Rome, we should definitely have a little bit more of a field there, with it being in Europe. It's going to be a lot easier for a lot of those top women to get there. So looking forward to Rome, what are you kind of doing to prepare for that, or what does like your training and stuff look like leading up to Rome?
Well, being that it's December, I'm doing a lot of snowboarding. But we practice weekly, with the Costa Racing Team. We practice all the time. And I do other things. I stay healthy. I work out, I do yoga and surf and swim, and, besides just skateboarding, or I'll go to the skateboard park, and I just stay generally active at this time of year.
Right.
And then once we get closer to races, I'll get a lot more race focused.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And just to follow up on that a little bit, just talking about, some of the other things that you're doing outside of skateboarding, and along with kind of the training and preparing aspect of it. I know that you're super involved with the Boy Scouts, and as well as the sailing team and stuff that you have. Is there anything that you've kind of taken from like what they teach in Boy Scouts, or what you've learned from sailing and stuff, that you can kind of translate to skateboarding at all?
Well, definitely on the coaching side. I've been coaching the La Costa team since, probably 11 years, since Ocean and Orion were little. And I learned a lot of that coaching skills and teaching skills and communication skills when I was a Sea Scout in high school and college. And so a lot of it, a lot of the skills that I'm teaching to the Sea Scouts, I'm also using in other realms. It's not just for
Right.
sailing, but definitely, I'm a water person, and I kayak and I surf and I paddleboard and I sail, and it just adds to different ways to have fun and stay healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm sure there's a little bit of discipline that those things instill in people and just general life, but also while being active and doing some fun activities.
There's some people that have really hard work ethics, and they work really hard, and coaching them is really fun. Like Anton Gillespie, he's been skating with us since 2014, maybe, and he has a really good work ethic. And then there's Kelly. There's this kid, Kelly Apanowicz. He's 12. He won amateurs in GS for nationals. He just skates. He just skates. He skates everything. He skates bowls. He skated the Mecca ditch, and he listens. And you go, "Hey, Kelly, want to know how to go faster?" And he looks at you, and then you tell him whatever is the next thing, and he just does it. And he is so natural. When he comes up and he gets big, you guys look out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was shredding at nationals, and I see his stuff in the parks and everything as well. He's a great all around skater, and yeah, he's gonna be a huge threat, and it's gonna be fun.
He is, and he's got such a good attitude too. His whole family. His little brother is really nice. His little brother Ash also skates, and his parents are super supportive, and they come out with their dog, and it's a great family addition. And I want more kids. I want more kids to coach. We're out every Sunday, and we love bringing in the juniors. And we've got Sam. Sam is coming up. He's 10, and he's just improving every day.
Nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, it's cool the program that you have out there. And anybody who's listening who might be looking to get into slalom, or start getting more serious about slalom, and if you're anywhere near the San Diego area, be sure to hit up Lynn and the Costa team, because yeah, the program that you have out there is really amazing, and you've had so many great racers come through that program and continuing to come through. So it's really cool.
Yeah, we have La Costa Racing on Facebook and on Instagram.
Awesome.
Here's a fun question I like asking, and it's gotten pretty good answers. What is one grudge match you're looking forward to in Rome between yourself and someone else? Who are you looking at racing and excited for?
I have a special friend. She's a young lady from the Czech Republic, um, Karolina Makova. And I actually met her when she was 9, and she's been racing, and now she's 18. She's in the women's division. I got to race her at the Euros, and she did very well. She beat me on the tight flat, and I'm just looking forward to racing with her again, because I've watched her grow up, and it's kind of that love-hate relationship when you're coaching someone and then they beat you, and you're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not coaching her, but we've just been friends for a long time. So I hope that she can make it and bring her best.
Yeah, that was exactly who I was thinking of too, and I figured you would say that name.
Yeah, to be clear, there are 2 Karolinas.
Okay.
Yeah, so Karolina Vojtova is very fast. Yes, she came to Worlds and she brought it. And I'm amazed and still surprised that I was able to beat her, especially in the hybrid race, because it was she's an amazing racer. Karolina Makova did not get to come to Worlds this year, although she won a spot on the Czech team, but she wasn't able to make the travel. And so she'll be able to travel to Rome. And I did get to race with her and visit with her when I went to the Czech camp this summer. And I'm looking forward to racing with her next year.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it's, I think that kind of leads to another topic of like, just with, well, like we just said, there's two people with the same name that are such good high level racers. And it seems like in the last couple of years, slalom in general, but especially the women's division, it feels like is really starting to grow, and there's a lot more sort of high level racers, a lot more racers that are kind of coming up on your tails, or even in the Euros they were able to get you, which we haven't seen for quite a long time. So what has that sort of been like, just seeing that grow, and what do you think the state of women's slalom is worldwide and in the U.S.?
It definitely makes it more fun, because there were a couple of years where I was the only woman, and they'd be like, oh, here's $100 for being the fastest only woman at the race. And so having more women to race who I actually have to try and push and watch them get faster and wonder, wow, when is this person going to beat me? It does make it more fun, and makes the women's division again more fun. And so I've been racing in the men's pro and the men's open a little bit less, because I have people to race.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's been really cool watching it. And it's like now watching the women's division is like one of my favorite divisions to watch race. And it's really cool to kind of see that kind of come up. And especially in the US, I mean, for a long time it was kind of like you and Judy were kind of the only ones that were at least super active. There were a couple other people that went to their local races and stuff, but we're seeing that more in the US and in general. So it's cool to see from my perspective as well.
Yeah, all the other, the Team USA women, they're all getting better, faster. Like,
yeah,
you can see it.
The competition's very close. Yeah,
especially because some of them are so new, and just like Jen Kappa showed up to nationals and had never even rolled in a start ramp. And I'm seeing videos of her skating now with the Skate Kings team, and she's on it. They're all her, and Isa's just on a vengeance. Isa's gonna come, and she comes out to visit me, and we work out together for a week at a time, and it's great having her, because we're really good friends too. And then there's Maggie.
The juniors class is kind of the same. We need we're trying to get more juniors involved and give her someone to race against, and she's super pumped and excited to show up at every race,
Yeah, and she's a great ambassador for our sport too.
For sure.
Kind of a general high-end question is, what does it mean to you to be able to represent the United States through USA Slalom Skateboarding?
That's a really interesting question, because it's a new question.
Right.
And in the past, the only time we had to really represent USA was when we would go to Worlds, and it was really the Skate Kings team, and we were Team USA. And that was fun, and of course I love my Skate Kings team. But it is kind of a different level to be Team USA. When you see other Team USAs, like when you see the street team, like Team USA, and when you see like the women's soccer team and their Team USA, that's like a big deal. And I maybe need to act that way, or react that way, or think that way. I don't know. It's like a sort of a different level of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very different for us, especially because we're used to racing here in the States and showing up at each little town that we travel to for national races. You kind of have one mindset when it comes to that. You're racing against mostly people here that you see all the time and race against. And then when we all go together and travel across seas and show up at a different country, it's definitely, like you said at the beginning, there's a different sort of camaraderie between all of us who get to travel together to, say, Rome, like we're going to. I'm excited to experience that and see that firsthand for um, everyone that I'm used to seeing. We're gonna all push each other too, and so I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure. And a bit earlier, you mentioned a little bit and touched on kind of your coaching and the work that you've done with the Costa Racing Team, and then sort of touched a little bit on Ocean and Orion. What does that sort of feel like for you to see, all of the people that you've coached through La Costa Racing, but especially Orion and Ocean, who are really, becoming some of the best racers in the world, and they're here and they're able to represent Team USA with you this year. What's that sort of feel like?
Oh, I love it. Um, I've known the Lehrmans for like half their life now, and I'm they're somewhat of a fixture, and their family now. And what's really great is their enthusiasm for racing and for getting better. And now Orion's actually coaching me because they got they got to a certain point where I the the amount that they can get better is so minute. You really are focusing now not on, move your arm this way. You're now focusing on get enough sleep, and this is how you work out at the gym, and make sure you eat right, and work life balance. So it's kind of a different kind of coaching for me now, but I really like seeing how Orion is watching videos, and I know he's calling Joe, and I know Joe doesn't want to help him, but wants him to do well, but does so you're where I was with him 2 years ago,
Yeah,
because
right.
until he was 18, I could beat him pretty much every time, and then now I'm like, okay, well, I'm 10% slower than you today, so that's a good day.
Yeah.
But it's really great seeing them, and I'm really excited that Ocean has made the team this year as well, because he's a really good skateboarder. He's really powerful, and you
For
can just
sure.
hear the urethane being left on the road when he rides GS.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that both of them are coming.
Yeah, for sure. No, and that's yeah, I agree. It's really cool, and um, it's it's awesome just seeing how good they're both getting, and Orion the last 2 years has just been on fire, and just yeah, he's just skating amazing right now. Um, is there anything like in particular that coming from your mindset and your experience, kind of being the greatest of all time in women's slalom, is there something that like you like a mindset or something that you do that like you see in Orion or see in other people like that, where it's like that they're gonna be amazing?
It's a work ethic. It's a work ethic. A work ethic is a lot of it. Consistency, and also just the amount of years that they've had to practice, because every year they're getting faster.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And dedication pays. Dedication says a lot. I'm not really sure what makes one person faster than another person. Some people do have natural ability.
Mhm.
Um, like they both have different natural abilities, but they both their separate abilities make them both good racers, and then they have to work on the other part of it.
Right, exactly, yeah. And I mean, it's like you said earlier, like your skills can only take you so far, and then you have to, be focusing on your fitness, your sleep, all that sort of stuff, and a lot of that too comes down to that work ethic and motivation and consistency. Um, but yeah, I think there's definitely people that are more naturally gifted, but they don't, they can only go so far on just that.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of discipline involved, and I think that's why a lot of street skaters or downhillers, they just want to ride and they don't want to put the effort into picking up cones and tweaking their equipment and writing down what they did and taking times, and we do a lot of this. We did a lot of new equipment. We all got a lot of new equipment this year. I got Rogue trucks, Ocean got Rogue trucks, Orion got his Don't Trips, and we just got Ocean Joe McLaren Skate King's deck, and he was on a smaller Skate King's deck before, and so we're like, no, you need this bigger deck. And so there's a lot of trial and error and timing and picking up cones.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that is kind of the beauty of slalom, but it's also the hardest part of slalom is all that technical mindset. I'm a huge skate gear nerd, so like tweaking and constantly changing stuff and seeing how much faster and better things are, that's right up my alley. So yeah, that's totally get that. New gear is always good though. I'm glad people are loving their stuff, so that's awesome.
It made a huge difference from, I went to Euros and I was on a 20-year-old pair of trucks and they were my old trustees, and I could barely hold a line going down the hill because they were so chattery. And, so I got the new Rogues, and just as soon as I put them on, it was like night and day.
And yeah, that's what you rode for World Championships this past year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to work. So I'm glad about that.
They did.
For you, Lynn, who is one inspirational person, kind of one person you look up to, either in slalom or in life in general outside of slalom?
Joe.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm flattered.
Well, just success. Just success. And wow, here's my motivation. Someone who helped me a lot, obviously, to me, Richie Krasko had the biggest influence on my slalom career.
Mm-hmm.
Because like from the day that Richie met me and took me aside and was, instantly coaching me and wouldn't let up. And then, I got a different board sponsor. Well, he hadn't sponsored me yet, but I was on a couple of different teams. And then he's like, Lynn, come Skate Kings. We're going to promote you and we're going to make you famous. And that with world-class coaching. Like every weekend I was driving up to Santa Ana and we were working on equipment and working on technique. And, he was unrelentless. And that really was a big deal. And just having that and having the whole Skate Kings team behind me, but having like that mentor that was always there no matter what. I could call him on the phone from a race and explain the race to him, and he would tell me what to do, and I'd do it, and I'd win. It's pretty awesome. So, besides he and the La Costa boys, just skating with Tiger and Sherm, and they got me going. And, obviously we're still La Costa Racing Team. And, so that there's another team where, we're talking about teams in slalom. And so the La Costa Racing Team has also been a giant push for keeping going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a couple other people along the way that, just that stick out in my memory.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely had a very similar situation with Richie, where I was on a previous board sponsor before then, and he kind of came up to me and was like, "Dude, ride for Skate Kings. We're gonna make sure that we get you all the best equipment, get you the best coaching, and we're gonna make sure that you're a champion." And and he did, and so yeah, I feel that a lot with Richie, and can kind of relate a little bit to you with La Costa too, because it was very similar with me with like the old Costa Racing guys that were around when I was kind of coming up. We had so many great people to skate with and people for me to look up to as I was coming in. So I definitely relate to a lot of that.
Sure. And Henry, so the first day that I ever slalomed with people, Henry was there, and Hester.
Oh wow.
He's a eight-time world champion from the 70s and 80s. And he took me aside and he looks at me and he goes, "Lynn, you need to keep doing this. You're going to be top 3 in the world." And I'm like, "Shut up, Henry." Like, I've known him a long time, so I can tell Hester to shut
Yeah.
up. But sometimes he needs that. But I took it and I ran with it.
Yeah. And you definitely did. And yeah, it's pretty cool to have, legends like that see so much in you, like at the beginning. That's pretty amazing.
Racer X, Jason Mitchell. When Jason Mitchell was on top, he helped me a lot. He helped me with style. He helped me with tuning. He helped me with mentality of racing, and he was just great to ride with, and to where I could go to his house and get on one of his slalom decks and just ride it, because it he had this feeling on his boards that was just amazing. And this was back when he was beating people in giant slalom by like 1.5 seconds, and it was really amazing.
Well, yeah, Jason Mitchell is obviously one of the amazing pros from back in the 2000s and stuff that I remember watching and being in awe, like jaw dropping, just with the power and precision that he had.
Yeah, Jason was an amazing racer, and he's definitely somebody who's been a huge help for me too. In my skating career, I actually met Jason before either of us skated slalom. We were skating bowls and stuff together, and he was um, involved in like running the YMCA skate camps and stuff around here in Colorado, and so he was a mentor and coach to me even before we were in slalom, and then we both sort of got into slalom, and yeah, he was a big influence on my life as well, and yeah, his style and yeah, his precision, and just he's just so fluid, and just has that sort of like very smooth style. And yeah, there's definitely a lot that I took from him, and me and him skate, I think, so much differently, but there's a lot that because I am so polar opposite. It's like, okay, I need a little bit more of that. So yeah, Jason's rad.
Another person who really helped me a lot at the beginning was the professor, Steve Evans. And he taught me about truck tuning and about boards and different sizes of boards and stuff, and without going too much into it. But, some of the stuff that he told me was just, it's held. I have this special teammate. He's a brother in my soul. His name's Brad Jackman, and he's also on Skate Kings, and he is always there for you. And my best Brad being there for me memory is in Brick's Leg. He sold me his indie offset, and these are really hard to get, and so he sold it to me. I put it on, just played with it for a day, and then I beat him on the GS.
Instant regret.
But because he's Brad, he was stoked.
Yeah.
He was stoked that he was able to help me out because that's the kind of guy Brad Jackman is.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Brad's awesome, and yeah, that's totally something Brad would do and be totally stoked about.
I think that whoever is the fastest woman at the time isn't is a motivation for me to go faster, because I'll race somebody and I'll know who's coming and I'll know how fast they were last time I raced them, and that motivates me also to go faster.
Yeah, for sure. And luckily for you, you've been getting a little bit more of that here recently, so that must be good. What are you looking forward to the most about the World Skate Games in 2024 and going to Rome? Whether that's skating, a food you're looking forward to seeing, a site that you are looking at.
Well, my husband and I are going to go to the south of France afterwards.
Nice.
And so that'll be nice, and visit with some other friends there. And I want to get a house again and stay with the team. And I really liked that whole team mentality, even though, slalom in itself is an individual sport. It kind of brings another layer onto it when you have a support team and you can trade equipment and you can trade tricks and help each other out, and then everybody gets faster for it.
Yeah. Super amazing that if everyone's able to stay like kind of central location and be able to train a little bit together leading up to the race days, that's going to be kind of the most crucial moments of learning is right before the race, if that's able to happen. So pretty incredible.
Did you have anything that you wanted to talk about or any questions that you wanted us to ask you, Lynn?
I love skateboarding.
We love skateboarding too. That's why we're all here.
That's all. I love skateboarding. I go down the pump station especially on a giant slalom, and I get to the bottom and I just have to scream out, I love skateboarding, because it's addicting and it just is the best feeling in the world.
It is. It's funny you say that. I was actually before Worlds, I was skating, and Chris Pappas came out to skate, and me and George were practicing together, and he was just kind of cruising at the bottom of the hill, and he doesn't skate as much as he used to anymore, but he comes down the hill, and I'm walking back up, and he just looks at me and goes, "Chill, this is so fun, I love skateboarding."
Yeah.
So it totally just reminded me of Chris coming down the hill screaming at me they love skateboarding when you said that.
Yeah. Chris is crazy. I think the last time I skated with Chris, he got himself ran over by the car when he was skitching up the hill.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty bad. Or he was driving the car and ran you over. Or his brother or someone.
Yeah. He was driving the car and he ran over, I think it was either his brother or Martin Reeves.
We got to get Martin Reeves back out.
Yeah, I rode with Martin maybe like 6 months ago. He was in town and we went and rode. That was fun.
Or he could put on a race in Hawaii.
That would be sweet.
Yeah.
I'd be down to go to Hawaii.
Yeah. Martin, put on a race in Hawaii.
Yes, please.
That kind of brings me to, what's your favorite race venue you've ever gone to? Like, I know that you just mentioned the pump station. That's like a great GS hill that you guys run regularly in San Diego. But is that one of your favorite spots, or is there somewhere else out of town that you like a lot?
Well, pump station is all time for sure. I think my favorite GS race was in Brixleg. And I think it was 2006, might have been 2005. But that GS hill was amazing. And the GS hill in Polichka, I don't think we're allowed to race it anymore. It's getting a little bit scrubby, but the first year we raced it, that was an amazing hill also.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You know, it comes in that my favorite hills are the GS hills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, even though I think my favorite discipline is tight. You know, so, you know what's a really fun tight hill is Loretta Street in Oceanside. It's 25 miles an hour.
Jeez.
You know, in a tight. And then also coming up is the Sizzler. And that hill is, you know, who can argue?
Yeah. It's just a perfect.
Yeah.
I always tend to do really well on that hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think, you know, definitely Loretta's one of my like all-time favorite hills. I love that hill, and I love it's what most people hate about it, but it's actually my favorite thing is just how terrible the asphalt is there. And there's big cracks and holes in the road, and
Does it just add to the adrenaline?
yeah, it's just for me it's like that's what I love most about it. I think it's so fun. It's gnarly.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a great hill.
All right. Well, thank you, Lynn, for joining us on this episode of Meet the Team with USA Slalom Skateboarding. We're going to be posting more episodes of other racers on the team, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, and if you want to support Lynn Kramer, support Team USA, or support USA Slalom Skateboarding as an organization, please visit usaslalomskateboarding.com. We are a 501c3 tax-exempt organization. All donations are deemed tax-deductible, absent of any limitations on deductibility applicable to a particular taxpayer. And if you want to support Lynn and her efforts through the Costa Racing Team, where do they go to support you guys there, Lynn?
At lacostaracing.com and push the button for donations.
Awesome.
And we're also supporting, all the La Costa racers are eligible for support to World Skate Games.
Awesome. So yeah, check out usaslalomskateboarding.com, lacosteracing.com, and donate, check out what we have going on, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Go Team USA.